Hey guys, how are you? It's been a while. I've just actually put up your tarot scope for April, and I did mention that we've got this super duper conjunction coming up in Pisces with Jupiter, of course, who was the traditional ruler of Pisces energy, and of course Neptune. When Neptune was discovered, Neptune became the ruler of Pisces, the more recent one. So Pisces energy, water everywhere, guys, and we certainly had that in Spain, and there is going to be a lot more. I think that we need to look at that. I think there's going to be a lot of tidal energy, high tides, and I think that can be politically as well. I certainly feel that. Um, I think that there can be amplification and exaggeration with Jupiter energy, and because we are in Aries season now, then we just have to be a little bit careful, and we also need to certainly observe the fact that Mother Nature's going to do her thing, right? Don't forget, Mother Nature's sun is Jupiter, so she is going to do her thing. So I think climatically, there's going to be a lot of rain. And as I said, we've certainly had it, and it looked like the Spanish forecast, particularly where I live. We're going to have another week of it as well. It is a lovely day today, so I am taking advantage today to get this done. I apologise to a few of you guys where I've had internet issues this last week or so as well, where I've had to delay your consultations, again down to the weather, that I'm hoping to rectify soon enough. So it's a good day today, and I thought this is a good time for me to jump on board here and talk about it. For anybody that works within the world of spirit, and bearing in mind that we are of course all spiritual beings, we're just having to get on with this earthly reality, which frankly is a pain in the ass sometimes, isn't it? So we're all dealing with what's the right thing to do, and where we've been sitting on the fence, guys. I truly believe that if we are brave enough to dive deep now, go into this wonderful energy of Pisces, and to almost sort of I say to many clients, let go, let God, you know, let the universe drive the car. All right, and it is frightening to unhitch your wagon from something that has been so solid in your life. It's a frightening prospect to do that, but the one energy that I think, a couple of words that come forward for me with Neptune is acceptance and trust. And I think that we have to trust the universe. We have to trust our intuition, certainly with this energy of Jupiter, trust the inner tutor to guide us in the right way. So interesting sort of cosmic compass that's coming up with this energy in Pisces, and it is allowing for that dreamy, sort of imaginative energy that we all possess to come forward and do something about it. Now we're in Aries season, because I'm born with the Mars in Pisces, so a bit of a spiritual warrior in one level, but it is in my 10th house, and with all of us, I think, moving through this, which is my career house, by the way, but my actual Saturn energy is Scorpio, and it's retrograde in the 6th house of work. So there's soul work, spiritual work on one level, certainly, deep stuff where we're now really examining our own talents, certainly with the nodes being in both Scorpio and Taurus. It's recognising self-sufficiency, recognising our skills, digging deep, finding skills that we didn't think we had, or we sort of thought we had, but we always doubted whether or not we could actually make things work. And I think that as we're moving forward, I do feel that the universe is showing us the way. All right, it might be raining, and I said there might be a few April showers this year, but I feel that as we're moving into this energy now, it's beautiful. Jupiter's been in Pisces for a while, and of course so has Neptune, but this coming together now, where we may have been just treading water, or sort of trying to stay afloat, in something that hasn't worked, or it still isn't working, then I think that we now have to recognise that we have to let go of the wheel. We've got to let go. We've got the universe. We're going to let the universe deal with it. All right. I got my cosmic ones on today, guys. I'm just hoping for inspiration. So, there is going to be a lot of inspired thought, particularly because, of course, we still got Mars in Aquarius, but the Mars in Aquarius energy is allowing for us to break through and break away now. It's giving us the energy to do that, giving us the oomph to think, right, that's it, that's a decision. I've made my decision. I'm not going to falter on that. I'm going to trust this Neptunian, beautiful Pisces, Jupiter energy to take me into this other harbour, right? To move with that and recognise that it is the right thing to do for us, all right? And that's what Spirit wants for us to do. It's wanting for us, as we become more enlightened, I think, with this Aquarian energy, as we've been moving through this last couple of years, really, moving through it, then, it's allowing us to detach from the old way of doing it, to recognise it's okay to go it alone. If you want to do that, it's also it's allowing us to recognise our gifts, and to embellish them, I think. But we need to be careful about that embellishment energy of Jupiter. Things can get a little bit, how can I put it? It can magnify and it can amplify. So I always say, with a lot of Pisces in the chart around you, ladies and gents, if you've got a lot of Pisces, stay grounded, keep your lead boots on, especially when it comes to love and situations where you may want to rush forward with the Aries energy. So I'm not saying that you're not going to get the job done, but I'm saying, can we try, if we can, to do it in a more gentle way, in a more genteel way, rather than rush forward with that tremendous warrior energy of Mars. I don't have that. I get punch drunk from people because I'm Mars in Pisces, so I've got broad shoulders and I can take a fair bit. But there is a point, I think, where we have to draw the line, and I certainly feel with the last full moon that we had in Virgo, and I spoke about the practicalities. Now, what have we been working towards? What have we recognised as being not right for us? Where have we felt that we have been lacking in some way? Where do we need to discern? Very Virgo, and by the way, with that last moon, the actions from this point on, with this new moon in Aries on the 1st, and as we're moving forward now with this wonderful conjunction. And I did say, I think I said in the Taroscope, that we haven't had this particular conjunction for about 160 odd years, 165, 160 years. So it's really interesting energy. But the last time it was around, there was a lot of inventive stuff going on. We were able to, really get creative with a lot of things. And I just feel where we are now and where we're going, we are definitely shifting it up a gear. We're definitely shifting it up a gear. And for those of you who have sort of checked in on my Taroscope for April, and I spoke about how when you recognise that others around you are no longer on the same level of thinking, all right, then you have to detach your wagon. You've got to unhook your wagon, and you just got to keep going forward, and be that group of one that I speak about a lot with Aquarius when I speak to you in private session. It's okay to be a group of one. It's okay to be different. I'm just going to plug my Ascenti site now, because I've just done a little one on for the kids section. It's okay to be different. And again, I've been very creative with some of the designs that I'm putting on, and I'm just finding it ridiculous. Unfortunately, it does begin at about 1 o'clock in the morning, so I find myself turning off my computer at 4 o'clock in the morning, which is not good. But that is my most creative time, and I had a conversation with someone recently about larks and owls. Right, and some of us are larks, and we like to get up at 6 in the morning, and some of us like to sleep at 6 in the morning. All right, and I tend to be one of those because I'm much more creative in the early hours. Okay. Anyway, sorry, I digress. But this is all about getting creative, whether or not you're redecorating, or whether or not you are, looking at your business and how you need to revamp your business or what it is you need to do. But I think it is also very important on a mundane level to recognise that Jupiter is very much about advertising as well, guys. So if you are in business, it is about the marketing, and I've really struggled with it, with Neptune being in Pisces, with my Mars being Pisces. It's been all over the place, my mind, whereas now Mercury has now moved into, sorry, Mercury is in Pisces, but Mercury's now moved into Aries. So I think that's going to allow for a little bit more focus for a lot of us to maybe get our head around the tech, because I've really struggled with advertising my work, and learning about URLs and SEOs and everything else, which has been quite interesting. So I've been a bit of a hermit myself of late, trying to get my head around that and doing some study on that. The computer sciences, which I'm not very good at. But this is, I'm sort of trying to explain this, that, what do we need to do? Do we need to take another course, for instance? Do we need to introduce a new product? Do we need to, again, do we need a spiritual ritual, if you like? Do we want to get more spiritual? Have we gone through this shift? Have you made that shift up? Have you knocked it up a gear, which is what I was talking about in the tarot scope? Right, I'm just looking at the cards. I'm just going to get I hope they make me look more intelligent, guys. I just really made a lot of mistakes last year with my figures, and I do realise that it's down to the cataracts in my eyes. So yeah, so all this energy going on in the sky, as I said, great conjunction. And on the first, we've got this beautiful trine. Well, it depends on how you're seeing it. As I said, there's always a yin and a yang here. Trines, again, they can flow very easily, but it is a very inner and outer energy for me, as a trine energy, where we're looking at that, and it is actually trine, the south node in Scorpio on the 1st of April. That conjunction, which is grand on one level, but we've also got Mars energy, don't forget, it's still in Aquarius, and that's going to cause a little bit of a conflict there with that energy of the North Node. So we again on this full moon, this new moon on the 1st of April. So that's causing a few issues there. It can do. You've got these squares going on, right? We've got nice squares going on. And of course we've got that with Saturn as well, and we've also got Juno up there as well, which is the relationship energy. So yeah, whoever we're relating with, it doesn't matter whether or not it's your personal, really close personal, intimate relationships, whether or not it's your work colleagues or whatever. So yeah, it can be a little bit niggly, so we need to stay in this Pisces energy, guys, if we can. We've got to stay in this Pisces, because and we can sort of transcend that if we can, right? And I have struggled, but I make no apologies for my anger this last year or so, particularly. I have been very vocal about my beliefs with regards the secrecy and a lot of the things that have been going on politically, socio-politically in the world. I'm trying very hard to keep a lid on it, but it isn't easy. I've noticed that everything's gone a little bit quiet, unless you're on the alternative media, and of course these guys are out there still doing their thing, God bless them. But it is a little bit quiet, but I think we are wising up to the fact that all we've been told has not been correct. Again, don't forget, Jupiter is about truth, right? And truth can get lost in the Pisces energies as well. It can be hard to decipher, right? But I do feel that if we're talking about diving off into this wonderful um, oceanic depth of imagination and creativity, uh, and the ability to just let go and think, do you know what, if this is not working for me, I'm going to accept that. I'm going to trust the universe with this Pisces, and I'm going to let go and just see what happens. And as I'm speaking to you, I just got this vision of Steve McQueen. Um, if you remember Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman in Papillon, and of course they threw down the raft of coconuts to get away from the island, and he was on it. Dustin stayed on land, but he got on it. And this is the energy I feel that, it's the Steve McQueen energy that we need to adapt here, rather than Dustin, God bless him, I love him too. But he stayed on it, he didn't have the bottle to do it, so he didn't have the will to do it. And where I just say about this energy of Mars in Aquarius, Mars in Aquarius for me, is again Aquarius, breaking through, being individuated in your thinking and your actions, doing what you want to do, but let's not jump on heads and punch people psychologically or physically to actually get where we want to be. So as I said, I'm a Mars in Pisces. I'd never stand on your head to get where I need to be. Maybe I should have done it in my life. But I've had some more dosh, guys. But at the end of the day, that's not me. It's not who I am. So, it depends on where your Mars is. But don't forget, it is your will, and your willfulness. Yes, truly. But it is your will that does define your destiny. It's not your past. It's not your heritage. It's not your parenting, your childhood. That doesn't define who you are. Your will and your determination defines who you are, and that is what's going to push you through the gate now. So all of you who really want to get sort of into something that you never thought that you could actually do before, you never felt possibly that you could gain from financially, or it's just letting go of the dream of working within I don't know if you've worked within the banks for 25 years and you just need to get off and think, no, I want to go and paint shells on the beachfront in Jamaica, then maybe that's what you want to do. But that's absolutely okay. And I think that this is going to allow us to dream, right? To allow us to imagine. And don't forget that when what we imagine on a purely sort of quantum level, if you like, the whole physics of it and our existence here, then that is going to allow us to do it. So again, it's that co-creating that I've spoken about with the universe. Trust, acceptance, right? And the embellishment and the magnification of creativity that can come with Jupiter. And even if it is your spiritual practices, where we're really moving up, and you're getting, for instance, if you're a very deep and very dedicated meditator, so you may have moments of real expansion, as you're moving into this energy, and certainly messages coming through from spirit, both from yourself. I mean, I have had, I do, that I talk about those who have passed, and I talk to you about their names and how they passed and so on and so forth. That is my Mars in Pisces energy and my Scorpio and all of that. It's everything, I often say to a client, if I cut the middle out of your chart, if I cut this middle circle out, I pop it on your head like a little halo, that is how you consciously operate on the earth realities. That's how we operate. Okay, so again, I just want to say, guys, that if it is, if you've lived somewhere and you don't want to stay there anymore, this is time. It's time to go. If you're within a relationship that is not sustaining you, it's not giving you the sustenance of Taurus, either whether it be love or I could go with Scorpio and say whether or not, we're not pressing the buttons for each other anymore. It's not working because we're on different levels. All right, then this is the time to step away from that. This is the time to cut those cords and allow the universe to guide us, right? To guide us, um, and just be free with it. I have done an awful lot of watching of videos recently. And that to me is when I am in my head, and obviously I deal with a lot of emotion when I'm dealing with you guys, bless you, then I just need to escape. And so I will do that with my Netflix or my YouTube or my art or anything, or I'll, like I'm in the process of decorating at the minute, just escaping it all and moving away from that, um, feeling completely contained and stuck, which Saturn does that, right? And bearing in mind, as Saturn energy still in Aquarius, it is square that North Node in Scorpio. So we need to be careful around, um, how can I put this? Where we overload psychologically, I think as well, that's very important. And what we don't want, um, and believe me, I've felt that energy very recently. I've felt absolutely overcome uh, quite a bit this last few weeks. Um, and eventually you know that you've got to draw the line. There needs to be a line that needs to be drawn in that sand, and believe me, I often say the truth will set you free. I mean, it's very true, and bearing in mind, as I said, that Jupiter is about truth, but certainly, um, I'm glad that the UK is free of too much rain. Apparently you've had a really good few weeks, or a good few days within this last week, and I'm so happy for you. But as I said, I'm taking advantage today of a little bit of sun in Spain. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to be for the next week, but hopefully my internet's going to be back online, so it's not dropping off all the time, guys, so I can actually work for you. So, if you do want to get a reading with me, you want to see where the energies of this conjunction's operating for you, then you need to get in touch with me. All right, we can have a look at it. Just very quickly as well, I just wanted to have a quick look. Gosh, I can never remember where I put these. I just want to have a little quick look here. Yeah, I'm just looking at this Uranian energy as well, guys, because um, Uranus is also square Mars. All right, and sorry, Uranus is also square Vesta. I apologise. And Vesta, of course, is the keeper of the flame. Again, it's like, and Vesta, of course, it is in Gemini. It is in Aquarius. Sorry, can you just hang on? Sorry, guys. Yeah, Vesta is in Aquarius. So yeah, um, you know, the habits. Vesta, of course, being one of the Vestal Virgins, but the habits that we've been keeping, not literally, but again, it's like, what do we need to kick? Which habit do we need to kick, right? And that's another thing with, of course, Neptunian energy can be a house of addiction, right? And it can be an addiction to anything, alcohol, drugs, the wrong relationship, codependency, all of these things, and where we then have to again acknowledge that it's time to do away with that. Look, no, and be natural, right? Just be who we are, rather than, um, you know, what we want others to think we are. And I've had a great conversation with a couple of clients recently. One young client out there, God bless, knows who he is, and we talked about ego death, right? And there is a lot of that, and I think that particularly with this Scorpio energy, yeah. That South Node being in Scorpio, interesting, letting go of that, not being afraid to say, actually I'm vulnerable, actually I haven't got that right, actually I'm not good enough to do that, but I am really good to do this, right? So it's speaking up, saying what we need to say, but trying to say it in a very gentle way. Jupiter is going to bring opportunities, all right, but you have to trust and accept that we have absolutely no control, but we do have will, And if we go forward and say, okay, I'm going to meet you halfway, help me out here because this needs to happen for me, I need to find this or I need to do this. And if you meet the universe halfway, it will always pick you up. You're not going to get lost in the depths of this. Right, you might get a little bit wet, guys. Your feet are going to get wet, and you may be treading water for a while. But I promise you, if you just trust the universe to steer your ship on what could be very torrid water, there may be an element of discontent amongst that contentment, but I'm confident that we will get to shore, guys. The land is there. You're going to get your feet dry eventually, but you just got to let go and allow the universe to drive this vehicle. Now, Jupiter is in a sign for a whole year. As I said, it's going to be 166 years, I think, that we've had this conjunction in the sky. I mean, we've been raving about these in the astrology world. We've had like almost 600 years of some of these massive conjunctions, Saturn particularly. So, it's been absolutely huge. But Jupiter, it takes 12 years to go all the way around. It stays in one sign for a year, but it has not been together with Neptune in Pisces for 166 years. So this is going to be interesting. We need to keep an eye on the weather, guys. I think certainly, particularly with the Iranian energy as well, we could have a lot more shifts, and that could most definitely affect our tidal energies. I want to say something, but I'm thinking it could also affect the supplies. Again, we know that we've got hold-ups in ports for all sorts of political reasons. We know we've had the distractions of Ukraine and Russia going on, anything to distract the masses, which again is Pisces, anything to sort of give them a little distraction. Yeah. Well, we need to be careful, don't forget, because Scorpio energy is Plutonian energy, and Pluto, of course, is Capricorn, which is the elite, the powers that be, and the powers at the end of the graph. They enslave us into this system. I can't not do it, can I? I can't not do a session without getting political, but it's we've got to come forward, and we've still got to keep fighting for our right to be here on this planet and have a life where we are not lacking, Virgo, we're not lacking, but we do need to begin to let go of the old ways, certainly, but we don't want to, how can I put this, we don't want to find that we're under there for too long. So we've got to do what we need to do. We need to act upon it. We need to use the Mars in Aquarius that's still with us to move forward. We can move this square energy out of the way. Squares can always be negotiated. That, I spoke to you about that before. So they can always be negotiated, but let's try and do it in a peaceful way if we can. All right. Anyway, guys, I'm going to end that for you now. If you do want to come in for a private reading, you know where I am. If you would like to have a look at my t-shirt, my creative self, I was always told to get a proper job with my mum and dad. Art was never really part of it. I wanted to go to art school, but I had to get a proper job. So this is my proper job for the last 38 years. But at the end of the day, I'm happy with it. I'm still working with the water energy, and I'm still being creative. But I just feel that the Ascenti stuff for me, as I said, it has released me. And if you would like to get on to have a look at that, there's some really good designs coming, and I can really feel my creative side coming forward. So please catch on to that if you would. Ascenti, ASCENTEE.co.uk. If you want a personal reading from me, you know where I am, www.maggiespark.co.uk. It's my other website. And of course you can come via Messenger, WhatsApp, Skype, Signal, Instagram. Get me on there. Anything you need, I'm here. I want to say thank you again, guys. Thanks for listening, and enjoy this energy. Use it wisely with Jupiter energy, wisdom. But if you do that, you're going to do well. Just meet the universe halfway, and I guarantee it will take you where you need to go. Take it easy, guys. Lots of love to you. Bye.